In this issue of Spacecraft Guide, we are going to continue on our work with the lunar lander with panel 8, which is all the explosive devices subsystems, and we are going to work on this switch over here, the descent vent switch, which is very interesting. So I think you're going to like this one. So when we click on it, it takes you to the explosive device descent vent switch, which is this one right here. It actuates descent, fuel, and oxidizer vent explosive valves to enable descent propulsion section venting. The switch is locked in and spring-loaded to the safe position. It's used with the descent propulsion fuel and oxidizer vent switches. On fire, it actuates the explosive valves. In safe, it removes power from the explosive valves. So this way is to make sure you don't fire it. In this way is when you definitely want the valves to open. And there is a reason for that. Now, if we go to the schematics, we'll see down here we have the descent propellant venting, and what happens is when that goes from safe to fire with the main master arm switch here, it opens the descent propellant venting. But to get a better perspective of what this valve or this switch really does, let's go into the schematic of the engine itself. Now we are in the main propulsion, descent propulsion section, explosive valve, and simplified function diagram. So we're actually in the main propulsion section. And down here, you will see the vent valves, one for oxidizer, one for the fuel valve. And those come into these relays here for the descent vent. And the descent vent does both the oxidizer and the fuel vent. So what we have is the cryogenic helium is operating right now. And you'll see the valves, they go down through the check valves, make sure that they go through this way. And once they get on the ground and they land, that's when the astronauts are going to throw this switch from safe to fire. And what that does is that gets rid of all the nitrogen in here, so it doesn't push the oxidizer and fuel into the engine. So basically, this is a check to make sure that once the astronauts are on the surface of the moon, that there's not going to be any way that that engine is going to fire up even a little bit, because if they did when they were outside walking around the spacecraft, it could be very detrimental to the mission.